Welcome to FFC Top 3, a show where we, your FFC hosts, count things down from 3 to number 1. Thank you for joining us this week. This week we have crazy. This is happening. We have a momentous occasion in which a dear friend of ours, Man-at-Arms, the one Destiny video content creator who has managed to make my wife watch a video more than once related to Destiny. We have Man-at-Arms here. And tonight on Top 3, we're going to discuss our top 3 moments in history, moments in time, places we want to go to.
Time periods to visit.
Would it be time periods or like events in time periods? Like, I was still a little iffy on which way we're going with that because time periods can be distinguished.
I went with times. So, like, I have like rough
5
years.
o'clock.
Yeah,
I don't really know
works.
what I'm going to come out with, so I mean, we'll see.
It's fine. We're just gonna make it happen. But we have Blue Crew, we have Man-at-Arms, we have myself, and the order is thus: Blue Crew, Man-at-Arms, and then myself. Blue, what's your number 3?
So Rome at the height of the Empire, which is roughly about 117 Common Era. Mostly just to see that thing in all its splendor. Because the crazy thing is like looking back through the history and everything, like we don't have any real idea of what was actually there. We have some idea, but we don't like. We've never seen really the like Colosseum at its full height and everything. So there's like all this stuff that just really, really cool possibilities.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other not cool possibilities around that time too.
Oh yeah,
like,
there's
just
totally.
saying.
I mean, to be fair, in the history of humanity, even with all the nonsense that's going on in our current years, to be human, this is kind of probably one of the better times to be alive, because even like historically, it is continuously getting. It's slowly. But it is continuously getting better. Like the further back in history as you go, the more likely you are going to hit atrocities that you probably can't imagine.
I mean, right? There's atrocities now.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like this is I mean, there's at least a degree of sense of decorum and of. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, well, back in, medieval Europe, it was such a. It was like, nah, well, let's not oversell it too much. Like, there was a lot of stuff that you probably don't want to be around for,
fair.
Like the plague.
Yeah, I was going to say less likelihood of dysentery now. So
Oregon Trail. Yeah.
God damn dysentery.
What about you, Rick? What's your number 3?
I went in a completely different direction because I was thinking the same, along the same lines as Blue, and I was like, well, and I mean no offense by this, but I was like, it'd be a little self-indulgent just to go and the going to see Babylon was my first initial response. But I was like, well, that's not really going to do anything for me, so I'm actually going to steal one from one of my coworkers. Just to see if it even happened, I would like to see Gabriel give the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, interesting.
Because that would be a spectacle. You see Angel Gabriel show up and go, and here's the Quran. Enjoy.
Have fun.
A burning bush and any other, like just kind of that religious thing. That'd just be interesting. All those different miracles in that time period.
So if that didn't happen, then I know, well, everything is wrong and we can go see the Tower of Babel now. Just throwing that out there.
Sure.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay. I'm trying to think. So I went with my number 3 as seeing the invention of fireworks. Going
Mulan?
way... yeah, kind of. Well, not necessarily Mulan in particular. I don't want to attack the Huns.
Why not?
Defeat the Huns. I mean, no, it's more of the I want to see just the accident that was the beginning of fireworks.
Oh gosh.
Because that would be amusing. It's not like profound. It's just one of those moments where somebody messed up and it just became this beautiful thing that we shoot off every New Year's Eve at midnight. It's terrifying every dog in the neighborhood. It's great. It's beautiful. Anyway, shall we move to number 2?
Yeah. Do it.
Well, you'll be glad to know, Rick, that my number 2 is Babylon. That's 600 BC.
I mean,
because,
yeah.
I mean,
It
Hanging
also
Gardens,
answers,
it's one of the wonders of the world, supposedly. So, but no, yeah, Green, actually, your number 3 makes me think of, I think it's John Mulaney has a gig where he's like, if I could time travel, I want to go back in time and high-five the guy who was about to invent the high five.
Oh, gosh. Be the talk about a paradox. Be the person that invents the high five / forces the invention of the high five. Starting our time travel talk a little early. Oh man, Babylon, huh?
I mean, it's worth the price of admission, I think.
Yeah, similar to the height of the Roman Empire. It's one of those things that there really isn't. It's just not really known. And to me, it's like, and it's one of those things also that, like, within literature and within a lot of the histories, it's so revered, it's so spoken highly of, and and then you go and you look and you're like, yeah, we think this is where Babylon was, we think this might be where the Hanging Gardens were, but there's no, like, you can't even conceptualize just how that would actually look.
Do we? Speaking of like the ancient wonders, this is just a random off topic. Colossus of Rhodes. Mm-hmm. Where is that? Like, where was that? I have a vague idea in my head, but
Isn't it where Rhodes?
I can feel Green, like, just
the seething anger.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't find Rhodes on a map, but I'm pretty sure that's where it'd be.
Thank you.
I mean, no, technically, if I'm there, I would have to ask directions because they don't have Google yet. But
thank you.
Gosh.
Thank you.
Nor do I speak Greek, so
I think it was in the bay or the entrance of the Bay of Rhodes.
Right. It's like the whole the Lord of the Rings version of it was like not necessarily a tribute, but like a similar concept.
So I think like it's argued where it is. It looks like. Hang on, I'm looking real quick to see if I can.
Rhodes Island. That makes sense. Okay. But geographically, where is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find. Like,
Penn's has a good one. We're gonna do. I'm gonna pull some from chat once we get towards the end this time because there's some good ones out there. Rick, what's your number 2 while Blue's looking?
Okay, so this is spiritual and yet comical at the same time. So this is another spiritual one. So both in Christianity and Islam, they have the story of Moses. Mm-hmm. And the story is almost identical, except when you get to the end of the story. So in Islam, the physical angel of death appears to Moses when it's time for Moses to die. And I think the angel of death is Azrael in Christianity. Mm-hmm. But the Islam version is much more entertaining because basically, I'm going to give you my version of it because it's funnier. Because I made the guy who is teaching me all about this crack up laughing. He's like, I like your version better, so I'm going to give you my version. So the angel of death appears as like, Moses, God said, it's time to go. So Moses goes, nah, man, I'm going to the promised land. And then punches the angel of death in the eye. The angel of death was not ready for this, so he went back to God. And God's like, so where is Moses? And it was just like, listen, I know dude punched me in my eye. The dude punched me in my eye. So you just like gave him a pass on that? I told you. So
that's
anyway,
kind of amazing.
I'm going to save the rest of the story. Basically, well, no, I'll tell you the rest of the story just for context. So God goes, I respect that he punched you in the eye. So tell Moses, go back and, cover up this time. Don't let him hit you again.
Don't let him hit you again.
But tell him to grab the back of an ox and with one hand and pull out as many hairs as he can in one go. And however many hairs he has, that's how many more years of life I'll allow Moses to stay. So Angel Death's like, yo, don't hit me. So tells him to run down. Moses goes up to the ox and he pulls 83 hairs. And Moses goes, shit, man, I'm already old and tired. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go. Just take me now. And Ada's just is like, fine.
Just
So I would pay to see that.
That's pretty funny. Oh my gosh.
I just love I'm going to punch you in the face.
I had to use the swearing for that story because it makes
Right.
it.
Yeah, it really does. It really adds a little special something to that religious story. My goodness. My number 2, I have a background in music. And so my number 2 has to do with an event that happened in music history, which I do not want to be in the building when it happened, but I want to be a bystander outside the building when it happened. And the event I'm talking about is when the very first showing of Stravinsky's Rite of Spring happened. Because what ended up happening in the very first showing of it is the entire building rioted, and they just caused a complete and utter ruckus. Like, people were ready to burn the building down because they were so upset about it. And it's a ballet. It's a very provocative ballet about, yeah, you can kind of guess what it's going to be about.
That's
Rite of Spring.
Is that the one where they dance themselves to death?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, among other things. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it caused quite the riot, and it's one of the most notable events in music history that I think would be kind of amusing to be just like that person on the side of the street, just seeing angry mobs come out of this highfalutin ballet. Just, it's amazing. Yes, Wicked, you are correct. It was not, it's not quite an orgy on stage, but
it was the pagan ritual of, it's the Rite of Spring.
If you've seen Spring Awakening, that's like a modern day telling of it. That's a musical. But anyway, we should move to number 1. Yeah, you haven't, because you don't watch musicals.
I do not watch musicals.
I really think you should watch a few different musicals, including
my wife asked,
The
in
Book
all
of
seriousness,
Mormon.
My wife, we're driving, I think we were driving home the other night, and we're talking about, because Minion's not up here with us right now. He's with my parents. And she's like, we should go see a movie. And she looked over and she goes, so how drunk do we have to be to go watch Cats?
Oh, gosh. I was
like, no. This is not happening.
So I love musicals. I appreciate musicals. I appreciate the fact that Cats did something for music theater that hadn't been done before, but why the fuck they decided to do a movie of it, I have no idea.
I was trying to explain. I'm like,
there's
why?
No story.
Why are we doing a movie this? And she's like, but there's so many famous people in it. I'm like, that has never guided me into a movie theater ever. Like,
literally based off of a series of short poems by, I think, T.S. Eliot. Like, that's the whole, there's no story. There's nothing there to grasp onto. So the fact that they made it in a musical, the stage direction, the costuming, the lighting, yes, that was amazing when they did it for a stage. But for a movie, it's weird.
That was a very gentle way of saying it, yes.
Anyway.
I'm not even watching that when it comes out on Redbox.
Yeah, don't put yourself through that. The music's okay. Like, the music's not bad. It's just there's no story to follow. So it's really, I would rather go watch opera than go watch Cats.
Same. That's probably a whole other conversation.
Yes.
So number 1.
Yes, please.
Alexandria in Egypt around the 200-ish BC period, because that would be the height of the Library of Alexandria. And that is one of the wonders of the world that sadly we don't even, there's
Didn't
nothing
it get
left.
burned down after
got burned down.
invasion?
It was basically collateral damage during one of the battles, which it's terrible, but yeah. Yep. Similar to the Colossus of Rhodes, which when I was looking real quick, it only stood for like 55 years and the earthquake knocked it down.
Gotcha.
I sent you the map. I think it's like it's a Greek island, so I can't pronounce it. It's basically translates into Rhodes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
wonderful.
I just meant, was it on the bay? Was it on the road? Was it on?
No. Yeah, it was supposedly over. So there's a bit like a. It's not a lagoon. I don't know what the term is, but it's an enclosed place where ships could come in, and the storms would not be able to hit them because it was on the Mediterranean. It was just south. It was just off the southern coast of Turkey, and so there was this it was like an inlet basically, and the Colossus supposedly was built to stand across the inlet, and it was meant to be a protective thing. Which is why when the earthquake, I think it was like 226, I want to say, there was a massive earthquake and the Colossus fell, and the Oracle of Delphi had basically told them it was because they pissed off Helios, which was who the statue was. And yeah, that was not fun.
Interesting.
Okay, so this one is totally self-indulgent and voyeuristic. I would like to witness the Battle of Thermopylae.
That's fair.
With popcorn.
I mean, all of mine have been really selfish and wanting to laugh at the moment just because the moment is... Anyway.
I want to watch 300 Spartans in a trench fight 10,000 Persians for 3 days with a bucket of popcorn.
And then invent the longest race ever. It's like...
Yeah.
Let's go tell them that we're not doing too good.
Go back and tell them we did.
Yeah,
they did really well considering
they
the
did,
odds.
but
Seriously.
oh God. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like mine's going to be very anticlimactic, and
they weren't so as buff as Gerard Butler.
What's that? What did you say?
Black flag.
Oh no, they aren't as buff as Gerald Butler.
You don't know that. You weren't there.
You don't. Oh,
you ain't got nothing to say to that, do you?
Okay.
Go.
So my number one is actually a super recent event, and so much, and it's also not world changing by any stretch of the imagination. But Monty Ohm from Rooster Teeth and I can't think of the other two writers' names. Oh gosh, why am I Miles and I can't think of his name. Anyway, the creation of the story of Ruby happened at a diner, and Monty basically took ketchup on a napkin and created the world off of this napkin and type thing, and everything was based off of it, and they fleshed out the story just in one night at a diner when they were just Carrie. Thank you, Black Flag. Carrie and Miles. They fleshed out the whole story in one setting at a diner, and it's a pretty impressive series considering that everything got fleshed out sitting there, the concepts, the ideas, and then Monty himself, just watching Monty do his work, because the man was a genius when it came to animation, because he created his own program to do the animations with. He made everything to make that show. Well, and he was initially he used it for RVB.
Yeah, I was about to say the animation was made for RVB, because that was the whole bargain, was if he could get RVB done, the what's his face would let him do the first season of Ruby, and so he did it, and it was he did it in just an unbelievable amount, because they only had a short, it was 2 weeks or something ridiculous. It was that whole story of how Ruby actually even got the green light is simply amazing. I didn't know the story about that's similar to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Douglas Adams wrote it on napkins during his subway rides into work.
Yeah. I saw another tweet earlier today that one of the devs for now I can't Kratos, I can't think of the name of the series, God of War, right. Kratos, the character Kratos was created on a napkin as well.
Yeah.
So many different concepts that turn into these amazing stories or amazing events just created on a napkin that's probably got pizza stains on it and other things. It's kind of an amazing snapshot to make sure that you don't take advantage of those kind of moments, that you can actually make something come to life out of it. And enough of the sappiness. Do we have any almost made your list type things. I'm going to read a few of the ones that are in chat. I think Penn said he wanted to do Stonehenge, kind of see how that was created, which would be really interesting.
And Easter Island.
Yeah,
which I think
both
is the
of
other
those.
one.
I would like to know the identity of Jack the Ripper, but that would probably cause a paradox of some magnitude. So I passed.
Of your own past?
Because, well, to me, it'd be like just a dude. It's like, and that's a dude. I have no idea who that is.
Dude.
I must now take this dude to somebody that can identify said dude. So I threw that right out the window. I'm like, this is just causing all kinds of problems.
This is not worth it. Pins also said Bermuda Triangle, December 5th, 1945.
Oh, when the planes...
Flight 19.
Yeah. I think Wicked said he wanted to see Trojan Horse.
Mm-hmm. Among other things, yes.
Black Flag said he wanted to see the woman that led to the big wooden horse, apparently.
One of the guys at work said the same thing. He's like, I'd like to see the Battle of Troy. I'm like, you realize that was like a decade or something, right? He was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that wasn't a short fight.
I do want to see, I mentioned this one to Rick via Twitter. I want to see Hannibal march the elephants through the mountain passes.
Just watch the Romans like shit themselves because the elephants come over. They're like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that. What the hell is that?
Right?
I thought about Caesar crossing the Rubicon. I'm like, it's just a dude walking across a stream.
I mean, that's like watching Washington cross the Delaware.
It's so funny that you say that because that's really, if you read the histories, that's also kind of, they're like, and we're gonna cross the river. Okay,
well, that was a waste of a time jump. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't really have any other ones. I mean, there's moments like I'd like to be in the Renaissance to see the troubadours travel across Europe, but that's not necessarily...
I take issue with infested potatoes comment.
What did he say?
Oppenheimer realizing what they made. Dude,
oh yeah.
I mean, he knew what he was working on.
Didn't they all not like the fact that they were working on it kind of thing? But
well, yeah, and then, yeah, like the, what is it, the Enola Gay after dropping the bomb. Like, well, I mean, even going, like, taking a step back from there and going back to, like, Truman. Like, his like, realizing exactly what it was, because he had been kept in the dark for so long.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like they were working on a toaster.
Well, yeah, but boom. I mean, like Truman's reaction was probably even more because, like, who was it? Was it FDR? Was at that time? Was that because basically he hated Truman, and so he didn't tell him anything. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, let's drop the bomb," and he's like, "Okay." Like he had no idea what was going. And then yeah,
he made a word. Well, drop another one.
Oh God! Oh no!
Can't put Genie back in the bottle.
Yeah. Nope. Faragug, I would definitely want to be the person. I would love to see that, but I'd also love to be like the teacher of Einstein who said he wouldn't amount to anything.
Oh God!
Realizing that he's basically the most intelligent man. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
The destruction of the Berlin Wall. I actually did see that. It wasn't that entertaining.
I think that as much of the history, like the moments in history that we talk about, a lot of it is built up in the history books as being this momentous occasion, but they may not be as big as what they come across. I mean, obviously, nuclear bomb is going to be pretty big, but I don't know. Some of the different events, it just always makes you wonder. It was big for the time.
It was big for the time, yeah.
For us to actually go back and see Hannibal march elephants through, I mean, that's really impressive, but at the same time, is it maybe one or two elephants?
Watching Newton discover gravity.
I mean, did he... Gosh, the apple falling on his head, supposedly.
Hey, this is a thing. Oh, God, gravity. That'll come up later. Never mind. Okay.
Yep. Okay. We should wrap this one up so we can get warmed up for that one.
All right.
Do you guys have any last-minute additions?
Tesla! Oh, Dude, I want to change all of my answers to just hanging out with Tesla.
Oh, God.
Really? Do you want to hang out? Why would you want to hang out with him?
The dude's a genius.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other geniuses out there that are not that insane.
He invented Wi-Fi. Death rays. Hey, by the way, I made a death ray. Wait, what do you mean a death ray? Death ray. It was a slow weekend, so I just threw that up in the corner. If y'all want to buy like one, I could probably do that again. Cool, but check out this, alternating current. This is my jam. It's like, what?
Make the elephant stand on a metal plate. That's not going to go bad.
Oh gosh.
Get us out of here.
Oh gosh.
This will never end.
Blue, do you have any other last minute ones?
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining us. I don't know what just happened, to be honest, but it's over with. And yes, history, science, a little bit of music, a little bit of crazy, and we are done with top 3. Welcome to 2020, all of you beautiful people, and we will see you next week with something. I don't know what we're doing yet, but until next time, everybody loves a list.